All right, SDB, Econ and I, the two third place flameouts, are back for another video. Wrapping up the final predictions for season 7. So, how are you doing this morning, Pokemon John, as we've all started calling you?
As I am now addressed, I only recently realized that people can't change my name in the server. I guess only I can. I guess maybe why it's never changed, but yeah, crazy. I'm good. It's technically afternoon, but only just. I am kind of regretting that we gave them the extension because I woke up on Friday like, oh hell yeah, I cannot wait for finals, and I have to wait longer. So I guess I can wait.
I like that it builds up a little more than, when we're just waiting week to week. I think that having a big event for the end is good for adding that drama, adding the stakes. The best of three, I think, helps a lot, even though it is a lot more work.
Yeah, shout out to the coaches putting in or going to put in the work. Uh, have to prep at least two different teams, probably closer to five.
Five. That's as one of the people who did this last season, I prepped exactly three teams, but
I realized that when I started playoffs, my strategy was going to be I was going to prep two teams and only two teams because otherwise I was just going to get too into the weeds. And if I won with the first team, I was gonna send it right back with the exact same team, no matter what they did. Just bam, same one, same game plan. Let's do it. And then if I lost, switch to the second team.
yeah, I did something similar last season. So I made three teams, but the first team and the third team had the exact same six. They were just
Hmm.
slightly different, so that if Mick did think that I was playing the same team, there were like a couple traps.
Right, right. My plan was to make them think that like, oh, this is basically exactly that. Like, oh, he must have done something differently because it's the same six. And like, what kind of crazy person would just run it back, you know?
You had the exact opposite thought. Unfortunately, us with our scheming and plotting did not make it to the finals. Cam and Trey are
No,
just going
this
to
is
be
irrelevant.
a few unique teams playing normal matches like normal people.
What if they've secretly agreed that one is enough and they're just gonna handshake the rest of them?
Yeah, that'd be funny. Like Cam figures out, this is just the optimal six. This will just win every time. I have the checkmate scenario from the go. Good luck, Trey.
Here's my game plan. Let me know what you can do about it. I've written it all out for you.
Desperate. If he loses, he's desperately trying to fix the team in 5 minutes. I think
Oh,
that.
these are interesting teams. These are interesting teams, to say
Yeah,
the least.
yeah. Now that I've lost to it twice, spend more time looking at it. I do like Cam's team more than when we initially read it in the season. I think that to not fall on my sword too much. I stand by what I said about all these guys at the bottom. I think they're pretty useless still. Um,
What, like Sanaconda,
yeah,
Decidueye, and
Magmortar,
Giraffe?
Tatsugiri's fine. Giraffe is pretty useless for six, but I think one thing that I really like about Cam's team is that he has a lot of fast guys that are like slightly differently fast. Because I think that like some teams, they're like really fast, but all their guys are base 110 speed. So the speed creep calculations are like pretty straightforward. But
Right,
with like
right.
Zarude is I think 105, Gengar is 110, Lycanroc is 112, Kilowattra is 125. It just makes it
Off
so
the
that
top of your head, is 20 enough to get adamant? Or, attack positive rather than speed positive nature? I
so
imagine 110 is over, like 85, if that's the comparison.
yeah,
But
I think that at 110 you can run Adamant and outspeed base 100. Um, because I think that 110 is 350 speed, and I think that 10 base 100 is 328. And then let's, oops, oh this was forget what this was for. Oh, this was for you. I'm like, I'm not leaking Trey's team, am I? No, that was the.
oh, by the way, you and Chad both brought weakness policy, agility, enam.
It's a good set. I think that
It's a good set.
I really feel that Enamorus is an underexplored Pokemon and is secretly broken, but no one is committed to just running degenerate sets. So
I don't know
Mew,
about secretly.
Mew
It
three
also it
three
can, it
twenty
can
eight.
only be so degenerate. Wait, Mew, what are we doing?
I'm just checking the speeds. So Gengar 252. Yeah, so you do still at 110. Base speed need to run a plus speed nature to outspeed base
Hmm.
100, but I think you outspeed base 95. I don't know anyone who's base 95 off the top of my head, but I don't think that really matters because
Uh,
Trey,
no, no.
you definitely outspeed base 85 for
It's
sure.
a big gap, is the moral of the story
Yeah,
between 85 and Cam's arguably best offensive Pokemon.
yeah, and so if you're Trey, like you always want to have the fastest guy on the field, um, which would mean like running either Scarf Azelf or Scarf Heracross,
Hmm.
because nothing else Scarf or I guess Tauros is pretty fast too at 110, but still being outsped by
Definitely,
Kilowattrel.
definitely.
Um, but sorry, give me one second. I'm going to stop the recording. Ember is doing something bad. Pause. Okay, I'm back. So Ember didn't destroy anything too important. Just a couple, diamond bracelets, but um,
Oh, excellent.
yeah, excellent. So what I was saying is that with Cam's team, if I'm Trey going into Cam's team, I want something that can outspeed an unscarfed Zarude, Gengar, Lycanroc, maybe Kilowattrel, but that means having
But with
to.
Heracross, there's no guarantee that that's going to be the one, you know?
Yeah, exactly, and then you start looking at like guys who can agility, like an Amorous. An Amorous at
Hmm.
+2 with agility. Maybe you can outspeed
Is that
Lycanroc.
faster?
Well, I think it is. Maybe you can.
46 base speed for Enam.
Yeah, I think maybe you can outspeed like Lycanroc. I think that it starts getting harder if you want to outspeed Kilowattrel. And also, like, let's say you're running an Amorous with agility. You might be running some sort of weakness policy set. Yeah, and that outspeeds everything. I think Kilowattrel
Oh
is
yeah,
like
420.
390.
I think so. Hmm.
But, if you're committing all that speed, then you're putting less into, HP or special attack or some sort of defensive stat. So if you're running weakness policy, you're not as bulky to get off that combo. So
Right, right.
I think that Cam's team forces you into making a lot of trade offs when you're deciding how fast you want your guys to go. Um,
I totally agree. He's got some interesting checks that I don't know. They all they really overlap. I think better than most of the teams this season. His stuff covers each other well, and even if it's the shitty Pokemon, it's still well, Water Absorb Tatsugiri is here, and I can't just. It's not free. You know what I mean?
yeah, and
Although Basculegion makes any water Pokemon not free.
and yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
true.
Basculegion is I think a pretty tough Pokemon to get through.
Yeah, and I feel like the other side of Cam's team being really fast is that if you're running something slower, like Heracross, you might think, okay, I'm not going to outspeed any of these fast guys unless I'm Scarfed or +1 or something, but I can outspeed all these walls. Um, but then if Cam just throws a Choice Scarf on Basculegion, then suddenly, like, you're getting outsped by that too. So
Hmm.
I like the kind of the combination of like really fast guys, pretty slow guys, and then like an Encore Prankster. Or I don't know if Cliff gets Encore, but it gets Thunderwave at least. So he's got like options if he loses the Speed War to slow you down. Um, he's got guys that are slow and bulky and good and can get fast, and then he's got guys that are super fast, hit really hard.
It gets Switcheroo, but it does not get Encore or Taunt.
Yeah, so it would probably be like Thunderwave to slow down something like an Enamorous if it had to.
Hmm. And
And
quote unquote speed control is is pretty good into Trey's team.
yeah, true. And the interesting thing is like Trey has like a sort of strategy like that too. So Tauros and Azelf very fast.
Hmm.
Heracross Overquill kind of like will be faster than any wall, but aren't going to outspeed a offensive mon unless they're scarfed. And then a bunch of super slow guys.
Yeah,
Vaporeon
some of them are
Belvoir.
comically slow.
Yeah, Orthworm, Mudsdale. Um, and the way Trey's played it a lot is like I don't think Trey's run a lot of Choice Scarf. I think he's mostly just had like his one or two fast guys. Maybe
Or
like
one scarf every now and then.
yeah, we're not talking
Azelf does
trad
get Trick
teams.
Room, but that's it.
Do you think seeing a Trick Room out of Azelf?
No, no, not really, but it's possible.
Yeah, I feel like that's something we always have to like in draft. It's like you always could run Trick Room. However,
I don't, Mudsdale going first, Belly Bolt going first, kind of whatever.
yeah, there has to
Maybe
be some.
surprise something, but it's in Trick Room. It's not exactly a surprise.
Yeah, there has to be some payoff for it.
Hmm.
And I
Enam can absolutely pop off with some Trick Room and be slower than everything on the board, but it's still, you know, I don't know if it's worth the setup and the effort required.
Yeah, true. And for an Amorous too, it's like you could always agility and get that speed control.
Exactly, exactly. That's one extra turn, but you take that extra turn with Azelf, and it probably ends up being two because then you have to get Enam in by explosion, U-turn, or hard switch or something like that.
Hmm.
Probably not worth it, but maybe that's why it's worth it.
Yeah, I
I wonder
do.
how many levels deep we're getting here.
Yeah, I mean,
Like not us, but I wonder like these coaches. I wonder how deep they're going to get in their prep.
yeah, I think it'll be fun because I'm in the chat where Trey will be doing a lot of his team building. I think he's already done some. I'm I have not been reading it yet, but we'll probably be participating at some point. I'm sure that you'll see at some point the stuff Cam is talking about, at least
Indeed, indeed.
in
I think everyone's
passing.
just kind of using the break to mentally prepare themselves and
Hmm.
meditate under some waterfalls, hit the gym, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, go do some work in Poola's attic. Um,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, so this is a good time for us to be making this video because I feel like even 2 or 3 days from now we would be very biased by the information we've seen.
Indeed, indeed. Um, well, honestly, I'm kind of biased anyway. In our last video, I said that Cam was going to win it all, and Cam didn't believe me. But here he is in a position to win everything, and I still think he's going to win everything.
Yeah, I think Cam is
I
at his strongest when he's saying that he's not going to win. I don't believe that for a second from him.
To be fair, that is all the time.
Yeah, exactly, and he's always done well. So
Um, in kind of contrast to what you were saying, having played Trey's team twice, I still think it's pretty okay. I think he's just the GOAT, genuinely. But yeah, I don't know. I think especially against Cam's team, this is a bit of a tough one for him in particular because I don't think Tauros can cover everything, right? It just can't. And Heracross has a lot of checks, and if it's Scarf to beat the speed, then it can really only do so much stuff. And I think Basculegion and Lycanroc look like they're pretty tough to deal with as well.
yeah,
Like you were talking about, the speed's kind of in his favor, but I don't know. I definitely think that there is a lot of room, and I think Cam's team is super prone to overcooking. And if he does overcook and Trey brings a more just like, no, I'm gonna do my thing, kind of game plan, then that will probably work out better in his favor.
yeah, and so I think one trap that it's easy to fall into with Cam's team is you try to like start making your walls to check all of his offensive threats.
Hmm.
Like you've got your Zaru check, your Gengar check, your Basket Legion check. For Trey specifically, that might look like, okay, I bring Special Defense Vaporeon, and then I bring Belly Bolt for Kilowattrel, and then Mudsdale for the Lycanroc. And
Special defense Overquill for Basculegion and Gengar, something like that.
yeah, and then like you suddenly get to this team where it's like, okay, I might have something that can like check all of these guys, but I'm not actually making any progress.
Right,
And
right.
if he just like flip turns out to the Dunsparce and gets off a Calm Mind, or whatever the Dunsparce can do, um,
Everything.
everything kind of like fall apart. So I think that it's important too into Cam's team to like also have some gas. I think that Trey's team is pretty good at that, like especially with Tauros. I think like Tauros, you're basically forced into running a sheer force life orb sort of set. Just because
Hmm.
that's Tauros is so much better at that than everything else.
It's pretty good.
And I think that's like kind of helpful in team building too, to like just have your
Know your
guy,
strengths,
yeah,
Yeah.
who's always going to be like, because then you're starting to build from like how can I win mindset, not like how do I avoid losing mindset. And I think that's really important for
Hmm.
draft too. Like there should be
I think
some
it's
like make sure that I don't lose till make sure I don't get like completely blown out by Lycanroc. But
well, yeah, of course. And like, you gotta check for the cheese too, and you gotta have all this stuff in place so you don't just get 6 0'd on something dumb because you messed up one turn. But
yeah,
it's almost like playing a weather team a little bit, where they're probably gonna, get some kills, but you just have to do your thing better than they do theirs.
Yeah, and you got to give yourself chances to like get them with some cheese too. And I think if you're just building
Hmm.
defensively, then you don't really do that.
Definitely, definitely. That being said, I think, the defensive pieces will be important. Um, I It's hard for me to not like Vaporeon and Bellibolt because they got pivot and Basculation doesn't get water absorb, right? Even if it did, it's probably running adaptability.
No, it's Swift Swim adaptability. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Let's see. Who
Um,
knows? And Mold Breaker. So actually, Basculation could Wave Crash Vaporeon, which is funny.
that
Uh,
is pretty funny. More likely just flip turn, but
yeah, that would be a. That's the kind of bring that Cam would bring.
I think so. I think so. He's clever like that.
Yeah,
Um,
but
and it actually does inhibit Vaporeon's ability to check it,
yeah. I
because then
also
Zerd comes in and you have to make a choice.
I also do feel like you just get so much more damage out of just Specs Shadow Ball or something.
Right, right.
Like even into Vaporeon. Um, sure, you're running Modest. Like the speed tier doesn't help you at all.
Hmm.
Um,
Not
Vaporeon.
not for that one, no. Not like Vaporeon is going to be running full speed anyway, right? Right, Trey?
Yeah, I
Whatever.
mean,
He scarfed it at Liggins me last week.
yeah. So I mean, I feel like you could run Mold Breaker Flip Turn. You probably just want to be chunking 40% even against the
Hmm.
most defensive Vaporeon possible.
Right, and if it's physical, regular defense, that's enough, right? Yep.
Yeah,
That's enough.
yeah, yeah. And I
Good
have
Pokemon.
one thing that I found like when I was doing the best of three with Mick too is that you kind of get into this like I have to gimmick them mindset because you're playing so
Hmm.
many games. But
Or you look at one Pokemon and you're like, this is the guy. It has to be him. It's my only option, and I have 3 tries to make it work, or something like that.
yeah, especially like these two played earlier in the season, so there's like a little bit of, you know, did he have an answer for this before? He didn't. Like, can I run that back? Will he be ready for it? Like some mind games to do with that too. So let's
Is
see.
the most optimal mind game actually to just bring the exact same team they both brought?
Well, I tried that against Mick and he beat me pretty badly, so I think no. But here's some history. Here's what they brought.
What do we got
Sand
here?
Slash isn't on the roster anymore.
How did this game end?
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
that.
probably for the best, huh?
I'm pretty sure that Lycanroc just kind of swept everything. Let me turn this off so that I don't get
Play
flamed.
without sound.
Oh yeah, I guess you can do that.
I've never clicked the play button with sound. If I do and it screams at me, I
Yeah.
kind of just cry a little bit.
So Cam,
Oh, that's right. I told him this is I was like, dude, this is the one game to bring Sandslash.
yeah, he like got up the hazards, which you should do against
Yeah,
Trey, and then he just started hitting things with his fast guys because, you know,
because that's what he can do.
he got up hazards. Yeah,
Um,
and
in Trey's
Amorous.
defense, this was pretty early in the season, and he was balls deep in like 3 or 4 leagues.
Yeah, that's one thing about Trey too is like he's been playing a lot of Pokemon, and I felt like at the beginning of the season, like that made me fear him less, especially because he was playing so much Gen 3, which I think plays a lot
Like his,
differently.
I felt his focus was kind of split,
Yeah.
but now it's just like
Okay.
he's in his bag.
Yeah.
He's in the Pokemon mindset, you know?
Yeah. Just got swept by Kilowattrel, pretty much. So hazards down, 2 attack, substitute Kilowattrel. Um, but yeah, I feel like
And I think that looks pretty good again. Faster than everything except Azelf, and if it's scarfed, I don't even know if a fully offensive Ice Punch will kill.
mhm. All right, give me 1 sec again. I gotta go wake up Gabrielle. Yeah, I think offensive Kilowattrel looks really good. And I
I don't
think
actually think it's even a terrible defensive piece either.
mhm. Yeah, because
Um,
like you imagine Belly Bolt could come for Kilowattrel, but then it just volt switches and
it
goes into something
can't do
else.
anything. Well, even if it soaks it, it still has Volt Absorb. Even if you do all the Belly Bolt things, all you can really do is Toxic it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and sure, you're not going to do a ton of damage to each other, but like, I guess Kilowattrel, at least on paper, wins that matchup, right?
yeah. especially if Cam runs the same sub kilowatt back, which
Hmm.
you know. So I think that Trey's gonna have to find answers for the team Cam brought before. I think Cam could bring this team, maybe a different suicide, hazard lead, Klefki or something, but this looks like a pretty strong team. He didn't even bring in Basket Legion or Magmortar, I don't think. So there are like still sets that he prepared for Trey, but
Hmm.
I do think that Trey, previously in the season didn't really know how to build this team as well. But I mean, check the first like 4 week series, win, loss, 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 and then by the end,
Then he really turned on the Jets.
hmm other than losing to the goat, but
Someone,
someone,
someone.
someone. Yeah, and I think that playing in a bunch of leagues, I think that it is immediately harmful in that you are distracted, but helpful in the long term in that you develop better instincts about what to do during the game. Better like team building generally. Um, I think the one thing with Trey too is that Trey's maybe greatest weakness in Pokemon is that he tends to tilt pretty hard.
Hmm.
And I think just playing in a lot of leagues, like you get used to getting
It
lucked. Mm.
right, right, exactly. Or you learn how to deal with it. You know,
Yeah,
it's just you at some point it's just like, oh, it's Pokemon, cool, yeah,
yeah,
that
because
sucked, but I'll get lucky in a second.
yeah, and it's like we Trey jokes about being like the unluckiest player, but I'm sure if we go back, like we've played a lot of games, he's probably just as lucky as anyone else. It's just it's stuck in his head
Statistically,
the time that he's lost
he's
due to
probably bang average with everybody else, and he's gonna hate that we're saying this, and because there are clear examples where he's gotten unlucky, like Flinchgate and a slew of other things.
it.
So
Yeah,
that's all the way back then, you know.
yeah,
But like you said, grand scheme of things, probably,
yeah, and like
depends on what you consider in your favor, what you constitute as lucky or unlucky,
mhm. Yeah, and
how
I
often you go for hurricane sets versus not hurricane sets.
true, and I think too like when you're getting lucked, like I'm thinking about when I played Trey and I got like the crit on Regirock, like
Hmm.
you wouldn't see this from the replay, but I remember Trey's like actions went to like from like 45 seconds to a minute choosing moves to like 20 seconds. Like he was just clicking buttons because it felt like he was like kind of ready to lose.
Hmm.
And I feel like it might seem unlucky because you're probably not playing to your win cons at that point. You're just like playing it out. But we joke about like me getting lucky a lot, but I always try to cheese people all the way to the end. And I think that like try to like I'm thinking about when I played you like with Polydode and whatever, like that game felt lost. But I was still like switching in Water Absorb, thinking about like what could I do at the end here to try to pull this out. And
Right, right. I feel like in Pokemon you can almost make your own luck sometimes.
yeah, you can at least give yourself more chances. And then if you lose because you missed a hurricane or something, then like you at least had one extra chance maybe to bring things back. So I think, but I think that Trey, at least the way he's talking about it, and he's got steam too. Like he's won 3 playoff games now. Is that how
Mhm.
many he's had to play?
Yeah.
I think that that gives you some confidence that
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Bestrin, Riker, me.
yeah. So I think that that just gives you some confidence and some resilience too, um, because you're going in this final like it's the end. You're gonna play this
This is
out.
your last sprint.
You've
And
beaten
yes, it is hard work, but you've made it this far.
yeah, and it's like you only have to do this one more set. So I think it's
He's got
easier.
more momentum going into this than Cam does.
Hmm.
Cam had a break, and then another break, and yeah, icing him out. Really,
Hmm.
take that, people who aren't mods.
All right, pausing real quick. So one other big advantage that I think Trey has, other than the momentum, is that because Trey's team got so dunked on earlier in the season, I feel like this is what you were telling me, like when you were playing him, like there's an like overinflated sense of not wanting to lose to it that I think puts pressure on.
Yeah, definitely,
It,
definitely. I also feel like we haven't seen some of the tricks it can pull off yet.
yeah, it's like one thing if Cam is playing, where's Chad's team or something, you know, he's playing Chad. There's Zapdos, Galar, Necrozma, and you get swept by Choice Band, Zapdos, whatever. It's another thing if you get
Me.
swept by substitute, soak, protect belly bolt with toxic spikes up.
It just feels different, you know?
Mhm.
It feels different. Like you said, yeah, I can respect Gyaptos much more than I can respect like Tauros.
Yeah, and I think that the more you prepare for, Terragrass Solar Beam Tauros, the more likely you are to get swept by just normal Azelf, normal
Right.
Heracross.
Right. Oh, what'd you think about Reggie Ice at the end of the season?
I mean, not impressed. It seems fine. I don't know. I was never especially afraid of it, and I don't think Trey brought it against me, so I haven't really seen it
No,
do anything too scary. I think
I
it's
feel like these teams are really weird because they both have some Pokemon at the bottom that were like, yeah, this is super whatever. And the same like top 6 or 7 Pokemon, but I feel like the teams that have been brought have actually been extremely diverse,
yeah,
especially Cam's.
yeah. Regice is the only guy on Trey's squad who I don't actually really like. Everything else here I feel is pretty good for the points. Pretty good at what it does for the team. There's maybe a little bit of an overlap between like Mudsdale and Orthworm, for example. I don't think Trey's brought both of them together very often. Um,
No, Orthworm's not my all-time favorite, but
yeah,
you know,
but in general for the rest of the team, and I feel like Regice has some overlap with what Vaporeon and Bellybolt want to do. But unlike Orthworm and Mudsdale, that has like some better strengths. I mean, Regice is like a little more offensive. It has better coverage, but
that's a cool move. I feel like it can do some interesting stuff. I just wish it wasn't either ice or so slow.
yeah. So I think there's room for Regice to. I don't know. Even looking at Cam's team, it's like it just feels like you lose to everything. I don't know.
It might be a tough one, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, could be nice to have to switch into like a Kilowattrel or something.
Or
Um,
like a Basque. I guess they can both pivot on you, but you can probably soak up their stuff okay.
I don't know.
Jesus Christ, 200 base SDF?
Even so, though, I mean, like got
Yeah,
rocks
well,
up. It doesn't seem great.
yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Well,
So
two
Regice,
points,
not high on it, but everything else I quite like on Trey's team, and I'm not gonna rewrite history and say that I've always liked Trey's team. I still think that he should have had a better removal. Um, but I think that it's got tricks. I think that it's got good walls. I think that it's fine, and obviously it's fine. He's made it to the finals, so it wasn't he didn't make it here on luck. He made it here building good teams. But
Exactly, exactly. I think it'd also be really interesting. We could see potentially like a double hazard stack game. They both decide to bring the hazard stack team they should both probably build. um, I'd love to see them just like continuously pivot and switch into spikes.
yeah, because that's one thing with Cam's team too. Like if he wants to bring hard rapid spin, then it's got to be Tatsugiri, and
Hmm.
Tatsugiri is not the best in Trey's team. Regice kind of walls it, Vaporeon walls it, Bellybolt walls it. I guess
Yeah.
Vaporeon can't do too much back to it either. But if Cam is committing to some sort of hazard stack, he's got one or two hazard setters, and then Tatsugiri for hazard removal probably. And then at that point, like half your team is these hazard setters. Like you're just gonna get swept by Azelf.
I think this game will be relatively dependent on what kind of Azelf comes in. Wow, Tatsugiri has nothing.
Yeah, it has like
It's
six
like
moves.
no move.
Yeah, and the moves are pretty good. Rapid Spin, Nasty Plot, Draco Meteor, they're all pretty good moves, but
Uh-huh, uh-huh. It gets Surf and Hydro Pump. You literally don't need anything else, but
and Icy Wind and Taunt, which I've learned. So,
huh, yeah, so it actually gets Soak as well. Little anti-soak in action.
I guess that's true. I mean, I feel like Soak doesn't help you when your coverage moves are Dragon and Water.
No, no, it really doesn't. does it?
You could soak the Mudsdale so that it resists your stab. So yeah, I think that without delving too much into the two teams, I think they've both got a lot they can do against each other to make it interesting. Um,
Definitely, definitely.
Cam's team feels like it has a little more flexibility and a little more momentum, but I think that also an Amorous Azelf Heracross maybe have a little higher of a ceiling in terms of sweeping potential too.
I agree with that definitely. And like I said before, I think Cam's team overlaps like in a lot of small ways, and it's an extremely like well balanced and good team. But it can be just as hard for him to build as it is for someone to prep against.
Hmm.
Because he's got so many options and like, well, which one's the best option? What six do I bring and what sets do I bring for each one? Because they can all do like, well, I don't know, they can all do a slew of a variety of things.
Hmm. Yeah, and you never know if you're
So,
gonna have like a bulky Zarude with jungle healing and bulk
hmm
up and just knock off, and it just sits there knocking off all the heavy duty boots that Trey's team tends to want to run, or Scarf, or I don't know, Sword Dance. Does a good Sword Dance? Probably.
Oh yeah,
I,
oh yeah,
I should know this. We played a whole season with it, but
we did. Swords Dance, Trailblaze, knockoff. It's honestly pretty much all you need.
yeah, who knows if Lycanroc is going to be a Psychic Fang Sword Dance sweeper, or it's going to be some sort of Endeavor
hmm
Stealth Rock Accelerock set,
Or Scarf, Choice Band. You know?
or Scarf Choice Band. Yeah, I think that some guys on Trey's team they're a little bit more locked into what they do. Like if you see Belly Bolt, you can guess three of its four moves pretty easily. Or
hmm
probably guess its item pretty easily. Same kind of with like Mudsteel or Northworm. But
Not
there's some.
totally untrue for Vaporeon, but we've seen both of these players show flexibility in their like perceived walls.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, I think that's a good breakdown of the teams. I'm going to pause it one last time. All right, so now Pokemon John has a little surprise. He made each of us a team using Cam and Trey's Pokemon. I guess I am getting Cam's team.
you're getting
What
cams.
is this? Okay. And we're gonna do a little match. So new team. How do I do this? Import. Bam. Um, don't look at my shared screen. No screen peeking.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
these
think this
didn't import
will
any
help
moves,
us determine who. Oh, it didn't import any moves.
and it's the wrong Decidueye. It's just nicknamed Decidueye H.
No, I had him. I did that on purpose.
Oh. I'm not.
That way we'd really know.
Oh, okay, fair. I don't even know what long range does. Okay.
Oh, long reach is fantastic. No contact. Man, here I'll just send you the paste.
Yeah, that'll be delete.
That's so weird. Oh, and you know why? It's because Discord decided to format it when I sent it to you.
Discord gets us again. What the am I looking at? Okay. All right. Let me read this over real quick. Um, yeah, these are some draft sets for sure.
A, it's pretty tailored. I think Trey's bringing these. Uh, no, Cam's bringing them.
All right, so why don't we play this out and then we'll pick who's gonna win. Hold on. I will be calking for this.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry, I won't be. I have all the calcs I need right up here.
Bam. Okay. Um, well, I know what I'm supposed to lead. Just a little guy. You even gave him nicknames. That's so nice. Did you give me 0 defense IVs just for this exact
Well, I
interaction?
mean, this exact interaction? No, definitely not. I don't remember what stat that was.
I guess you crit me, so nothing I can do about that. Yeah, this seems tough. Not gonna lie. This make me feel less confident about Cam's team. Okay. You've played yourself. You don't have a switch in for this.
No, no, I definitely don't, do
You
I?
also don't have sheer force.
I was like, why did I just take that?
I do love Magmortar. I mean, I don't think that he's the best guy, but he's so deceptively strong. You know, base 125 special attack is actually pretty huge. He's
It's pretty
decently
huge.
fast. Like, Cam has not been bringing Magmortar hardly at all.
Oh no. I've absolutely played myself.
Is there anything I can do about this? Not really. Okay. Sure.
Oh, that did nothing. That was so unfortunate.
See ya.
I feel like I'm okay with that trade.
Yeah, there's probably more I could have done with the Hypnosis Splendor Policy Gengar, but give me Glare and then run sub on everything.
Oh, I forgot to tear my Tauros.
This is making me feel like, too, a really fun mini season idea would be like a Battle Factory type thing. Um, where you don't know the Pokemon you're getting or what their sets are until you like hop in the match, and then you're just
Yeah, like
giving them randomly.
Pokemon Stadium rentals.
Yeah, exactly like that. Let's see, what can I do about this guy? It seems like it'd be bad.
Oh wow, I did nothing. Oh, it's over, dude. It is so over.
For me?
For you.
For me? Are you sure?
Just activated my swarm.
Okay. Sure. I don't. That what? I don't know what this thing's gonna do. Okay, sure.
This is it's all coming together.
I guess so. I know you're
What?
starved. I know you can't do anything else. I know Overcool Scarf too. Um. Yeah, I mean, I guess I just kill it.
I guess you have to.
This isn't even the right Everest.
Okay, wait. Um, I made this the worst set imaginable.
Is
except for that. That was hype.
everything on your team scarfed? I don't understand.
Uh, yeah, three things were.
All right. Well, if okay. I mean, yeah. I guess you got it.
Look, I let you pick what team you wanted.
I mean, Trey, take notes. Take inspiration.
So, Trey, I think if you bring the wrong Enamorus and three scarfs, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean,
You
so
will be fine.
that was a match for sure. Um,
I really wish you had gotten to use your Zarude more.
yeah, not getting crit immediately would be nice, but you know,
I
Trey's
don't know
involved.
how helpful Special Zarude would have been, though.
True. One more sack to explosion. All right. So
My team for Trey was not actually much better.
can't go wrong with triple scarf.
No.
So, you know, having played that match, thoroughly tested the matchup. Final thoughts
Mhm.
here. Who's gonna win? Who's your pick? We've talked through the strengths of each, but you know, going in.
I I'm still gonna have to back my boy Cameron.
All right. You know, I kind of
Been
feel.
behind him day one this season.
I feel like I'm kind of feeling like it's Trey. I feel that Trey is going to be able to eke it out in a close game three. I think that against all odds, he's going to bring some sets to just catch Cam by surprise. Um, and I don't know that Cam really believes that he's going to win, and I feel like Trey does.
At some point, that will catch up to him. And I
Hmm.
think Trey definitely thinks he's gonna win, and he should, right? That's what he's a competitor. I think that Cam would win, but I think the hypest thing to see would actually be if Trey just came in and just like bopped him twice.
Yeah, I would love to see game
It was
one be a
just
6-0, regardless of who wins it. I think that that would be a great start to the series.
people don't like blowouts, but I actually think in this particular instance, a blowout on either side would be like pretty vindicating.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of close playoff games. We haven't seen like a huge blowout.
Mm-mm, no, no.
All right, well,
Well, didn't you blow someone out in playoffs one time?
oh, yeah, probably, but you know, not this season.
No, no. I did that thing that I thought would happen, and all of my games this season ended within one or two Pokemon.
Yeah, I either want it to be really close or I want Trey or Cam to get 6 0 Don't give me a 3-0 win.
Right, right. Oh, Terra predictions. I don't know. I thought Terra Ice Tauros looked nice, especially if he runs boots like he likes to do, because then you can cover a lot. But maybe you just go for something a bit more specialized and beat like one check instead, you know? But maybe Kilo is that check, and I don't know, Terra Rock's not terrible either, but
Yeah,
Ice covers more with
I
like the
think
root and
on
stuff like that.
yeah, I think on Trey's side, the Terra choice for Tauros really just depends on who he's pairing it with. Because I think as Alfericross, Tauros, they all kind of want to cover each other. Um,
Absolutely.
and it'll just depend on which ones he's using for which threats. You know, I could see something like a Terra Rock to take care of a Kill Watch roll. I could see something like a, you know, Terra Dark for Gengar, Terra, I don't know,
Terra Dark was
Ground.
my other thought because I liked it into a couple more things in the team,
Hmm.
but you know, it opens up weaknesses.
Yeah,
Everything does, you know.
yeah. Or even just like a Terra Grass to like live a surprise hit from Basculegion and get a knockout on it. So I could see
I
it going
don't
a lot of different ways.
I don't hate Terra Normal, just passing body slams around that really hurt. I was also going to try to kill you with Hyper Beam with that Tauros. I didn't get a chance to, but obviously Basculegion and Gengar make that tough, but it doesn't not have things for it. I don't know, maybe. It's tough. It's tough. It can't do everything, but something can.
Yeah, and just throwing out body slams is pretty nice in general because Basculegion
Hmm.
like doesn't want to switch in, do the random coverage move. Gengar doesn't want to
Right.
switch into the random coverage move. Nothing really wants to
Oh,
get paralyzed. Well,
an
I guess
earthquake will kill Gengar for sure.
Earthquake kills Gengar. I guess you don't have to worry about paralysis because it's sheer force, but still, um,
They're chunking. They are
they're
chunking.
chunking. And kind of Cam's in too. I actually like Terra Normal into Dunsparce quite a lot too. Just like Terra
Hmm.
Normal Boom Burst does a lot of damage to
Yeah,
everything.
I
Um,
agree. I think Cam's is even kind of more up in the air because he has the tendency to like tailor it for a specific kind of set or to create a different like a specific kind of wall, I guess, maybe just to check in general, but something that sits there and is like, what are you gonna do about this?
yeah,
I don't know what
exactly.
that would be. I do like normal. I almost like ghost, but obviously overquill makes that a little bit harder.
Yeah, and some amount of it too. Like the Dunsparce is pretty bulky. You
Hmm.
might even run something like a Terra Ghost or like some sort of Terra weakness into one of the weaker attacks so that you can get a
Does
weakness
it get earth
policy
power
or something like that.
or scorching
Um,
sands or something like that?
Probably. I mean, it's a normal
I feel
type.
like it might get coverage for quill, and if it has that, it's looking a little scary.
There you go. Earth Power. Yeah.
Yeah,
Serene Grace.
I like
Rattled
a
for the
rattled set too,
Intimidate. Yeah.
or a U-turn.
Or U-turn. So I think
Catch a
that,
U-turn on the Scarfaz Elf or something like that.
yeah, I think Cam has a lot of options in terms of just like running straight Boom Burst offense, Terra Normal, or
Hmm.
running some bait weakness policy boosting set. That's what the Dunsparce brings to the team each week. You just have no idea what you're gonna have to be
Two very
prepared
different
for.
philosophies of Terra Pokemon.
Hmm.
Nice to see both of them in the finals though.
Yeah, I'm liking Tauros more and more week by week. Those body slams,
I
they
am too. I knew it was going to be a solid one because it has sheer force and Terra's good on, Terra makes every Pokemon better, but it's definitely been better than I thought it was going to be. It doesn't really need a whole lot else other than sometimes one more coverage move.
yeah, yeah. There's not too many. I mean, Cam's team has a lot of ghosts, but the ghosts are pretty frail, and
Mm-mm.
neither of them want to take an earthquake. So, or some other
No.
random coverage move. Zen Headbutt,
Uh-uh.
taking out Gengar for sure.
Yeah, if Gengar switches into the wrong thing, and even if it's Sash, like it's suddenly now a lot less useful. Bascue can definitely take more, but it doesn't want to. It's not its job.
Yeah, and unless it's scarfed, then you're just gonna probably get to a code anyway.
Right, right. Yeah, I think it will be an extremely good game though. Good
Yeah,
set.
yeah. I think it'll be just
I'm very much looking forward to it.
it'll be fun to like just knowing that you get some time to make adjustments. It's not just the one match. You can claw yourself
Ooh,
back from losing the first game.
what's the format? We do a game, we'll pick a day, we'll set an event for it. Maybe Alex and I will host again. Um, and they do a game. They have 15 minutes,
Five
10
minutes.
minutes, 5
5 minutes.
minutes. Make some quick adjustments. Game two, and yeah, rinse repeat until someone wins 2 games. Easy enough.
All right. Well, that's our little preview. You've got your winner. I've got my winner. You won the play match
With Trey's
with
team though,
Trey's team. So I guess
so
we'll see on the
it's
weekend.
very up in the air.
And good luck to everyone, and thanks for watching.
Bye everyone.